My peoples, my peoples, welcome to another episode of Boxing for Breakfast, where you get your healthy dosage of sweet science early in the morning. You already know what it is, man. It's Friday morning. We're going to talk boxing. That's what we do. Salute to everybody already tuning in. Underrated Will in the building. Sai, what's the deal? Toy Mafia, what's the deal, family? Fellas, we got some good boxing coming up. It's Friday. Let me start by saying happy Friday. Beautiful day outside. It don't matter if it's raining, if it's snowing where you at, if it's sunny, if it's dark, if it's night, whatever it is. But it's a beautiful day. Amazing. God gave us another one, my peoples. Let's make the best of it. And what better way to kick off your day than talking boxing, y'all? Now, we have a card tomorrow that we kind of been neglecting throughout the week. And I say that we've been neglecting it. God damn, 130 degrees. Salute, my G. We've been neglecting it because we've only been focusing on Andy Cruz and Raymond Murataya. Now, this is obviously an elite level matchup. Two young, undefeated fighters, both hungry, both trying to get to the top. Murataya feels like he can pull off the upset. Recently, he said that he wants to be the face of the 135 division. And then Andy Cruz, a force to be reckoned with. We already know Olympic gold medalist, training with Bozianis and Team Boots. Two fighters that are at the top of their game and ready to put their all on the line. So let's see who's going to walk out of there with the W. We're going to dissect that fight. But I want to talk to you guys about the card itself because there's a lot of good fights. We're going to see some good fights tomorrow, my people. I want to start off with this young man right here. Kaipo Gallegos. This kid right here can fight, and he's not a big star yet. Young lion. Young lion, and a lot of boxing fans still don't know him yet. But let me tell you something. This kid can fight. This kid has a good future. I promise you. Gracias. So, right now his record is 10-0 with 1 draw. He got 8 knockouts. He can bang. He got power. Kaipo Gallegos is a young lion that, you know, people within the boxing community, they know him. A lot of young fighters know about him, know what he brings to the table. Exciting young man to watch. So if you don't know Kaipo Gallegos, I suggest you tune in and you check him out. Check him out. Kid can fight. Hakeem, Zuffa Boxing, good or bad for the sport? Honestly, I can't see why they would be bad for the sport. Honestly, I don't see why they would be bad for the sport. They're going to open doors for some boxers. There's boxers out there who can't get a fight, who can't get on a good card, who can't, stay active. They're going to get those opportunities with Zuffa Boxing. So whether you like them or not, I can't see how they could be bad for boxing, to be honest. That's my personal take, right? So again, my peoples, Kaipo Gallegos is fighting tomorrow. Check him out. The young man can fight. You know what other young, hungry lion is going to be in action tomorrow? And I'm excited about this one too. Zaquin Moses, a.k.a. Zabow. Everybody already know he's Shakur Stevenson's cousin. Oftentimes you see him training with Shakur, been sparring with Shakur and all of that. And Zaquin Moses, in fact, he's an Olympian, and in order to make it to the Olympics, he had to beat Carmel Moulton. Actually, did he go to the Olympics? I think he did. but he had to beat Carmel Moten in the amateurs. That right there tells you, because everybody knows what a special fighter Carmel is. We know the expectations for Carmel Moten. Without a shred of doubt, he's going to be a world champion. So what does that tell you about Zaquin Moses? He's headed in that direction. In fact, in the future, Carmel versus Zaquin, that's going to be a super fight. That's going to be one of those that, you know, obviously it has to be marinated because they're super young right now. But when they meet up, it's going to be a big, big fight. So if you haven't been watching Zaquin Moses, and if you haven't been watching Carmel Moten, I don't know what the hell you're doing. Tomorrow, Zaquin is going to be in action. His opponent, I don't really know who he is, but I expect Zaquin to walk out of there with the dub. Simple as that. We have Khalil Cole. Ooh, my peoples, this is going to be straight up fireworks. Have you been watching Khalil Cole? Have you been watching the pure devastation, the aggressiveness, the savagery? So let me tell you, if you haven't been watching them, right now Khalil Cole is 10 wins, 8 knockouts, only 1 loss, and he lost to Manuel. Look at this. Khalil Cole lost to Manuel Gallegos, and he rematched him right after. Think about that. That's how you know a fighter has something in him. He lost by stoppage, rematched him immediately, and then beat him. Kind of like Conor Benn. Remember Conor Benn got beat by Chris Eubank Jr., went for the immediate rematch, and then won the fight. So, much respect to Khalil Cole. We're going to see him in action. And it's like I told you, man, he's facing an opponent in Jesse Hart who has 31 wins and only 3 losses. So, Khalil Cole is facing a tough opponent. And it's going to be one of those fights where you're going to see fireworks and you're going to get that action early on. That type of fight. Israil Madrimov, my peoples, is also in action tomorrow. We know what Madrimov brings to the table. We know the type of fighter that he is. He gave Terrence Crawford a heck of a fight. What are you doing? Gave Terrence Crawford a heck of a fight. Gave Virgil Ortiz a heck of a fight. So you know that Madrimov is there to perform. I'm looking forward to this fight as well. And of course, the main event. Andy Cruz versus Raymond Morataya. Whoa. Morataya says he's going to pull off the upset. Andy Cruz is not having it. He's like, yeah, I'm going to beat him up. I'm going to beat him up too. He's an opponent to me. John Parent, Hakeem. I won't say frustrate Cruz. I've never seen Shakur frustrated. He keeps his composure, but definitely will be tested. I agree. Hakeem, can't Teofimo frustrate Shakur? Look, up until this point, we've never seen Shakur frustrated by anybody. But we have seen Teofimo get frustrated. We saw Teofimo get frustrated with Jermaine Ortiz. We saw Teofimo obviously get frustrated with George Kambosos. And that was a fight he was supposed to win. Teofimo is a better fighter than George Kambosos. And he was supposed to win that fight. But mentally, he fucked up. He took way too long to determine, I can't blow this guy out of the water. I'm going to have to box him and beat him like this. By the time he made the adjustments, he was way behind on the cards. He couldn't make it up. Because if you think about that fight, And the way that it played out, Teofimo won the championship rounds. And remember, he dropped Cambosos and had him on survival mode. But he fell way too behind on the cards. Why? Because he started that fight acting like he was going to blow him out of the water. Fell behind. So we've seen Teofimo get frustrated and not be over here, not be right. We've never seen that with Shakur Stevenson, ever. There isn't a Shakur fight where you're like, oh shit, he's getting frustrated. He's making mistakes. We just haven't seen that. And by the way, I seen Floyd Mayweather and Terrence Crawford in Shakur's camp. That says a lot, yo. Tunnel vision, going to be 7-5 either way or a draw. You mean Cruz and Murataya? It's gonna be a good fight. I got Andy Cruz winning it. I understand that Murataya is a very tough fighter, smart fighter, technically sound, has the tools and resources, but I say Andy Cruz, man, is just a special fighter. If I compare them, Raymond Murataya is a very good fighter. Andy Cruz, a special fighter. That's the difference. Hakeem, unfortunately, I agree. I hate that people don't acknowledge Teo as the front runner. And Teo's a top-notch fighter. He's an elite level fighter, a special fighter. The best at 140 up until Shakur arrived. But Teofimo is seen as the underdog going into this fight. Shakur's the favorite. Why? Because ultimately, the favorite is not dictated by accomplishments. It's simply dictated by who people think is better. And folks feel like Shakur's the better boxer, the better fighter, and the guy that's going to walk out of there with the W. Tunnel vision, Teo versus Shakur. I'm telling you, that's going to be a heck of a fight. I already made my Jay Stradamus prediction. I got Shakur Stevenson winning that fight. I do see Teo having his moment where he can make it interesting, land some good shots. But ultimately, Shakur Stevenson is him. It's just that simple. Hakeem, front runner of his generation. Okay. So, I have to say, Teofimo Lopez is one of the best of his generation. He is. Here are the things that I think affect people's opinion about Teofimo. Number one, he had the opportunity to fight Devin Haney, and he chose not to. Remember when they was face-to-face, and he even said, yeah, we're going to fight. So he chose not to fight Devin Haney, and that's a little knock on him. People's like, that's a little knock on him. Then there's, because you know how it is, when people don't like you as far as your personality, how you carry yourself, they're going to hold that against you. Because look at Terrence Crawford. The people who don't like Terrence Crawford, for whatever reason they don't like him, they refuse to acknowledge his greatness. They constantly, find ways to either discredit his opponents or try to say that he's not all that, or try to take his accomplishments from him, no matter what he has done. The same people that said Canelo Alvarez was going to knock Terrence Crawford out after Crawford beat him, started to say that Canelo's not the same anymore. The same people that said Errol was going to knock Terrence Crawford out, he was too big and too strong, after Crawford put the beats on him, they started talking about the car accident. They went from, Errol's going to knock him out, to, Errol had an accident. He's not the same. So you have to understand that there's always going to be a narrative when people don't like somebody. And Teofimo is not the exception. A lot of people don't like him because of the racist rants, all the racist stuff that he has said, and the way he has handled himself. Then the stuff about him being undisputed. Let's be real. Teofimo never been undisputed. I understand that you could say technically he would have been undisputed, but he never been undisputed, my people. So it rubs some people the wrong way when he says he been undisputed in 2 divisions where he never held all 4 major titles in any division. So he's super accomplished, held the Ring Magazine belt, held all these titles in multiple divisions, unified titles. God damn, hold on to that. You got it. You're accomplished. But don't exaggerate your accomplishments, because then you look goofy as hell. The reality, look, let's think about what happened at 135. In the 135 division, Lomachenko was supposed to fight Devin Haney, who was his mandatory. He chose not to. And what did Mauricio, the goofball Sulaiman, do? Gave Lomachenko the franchise belt so that he don't have to fight Devin Haney. So what he do? He vacated the WBC, and then he fought Tio without the WBC title. So when Tio beat him, he was not undisputed. Therefore, Tio's not undisputed. That's not nobody's fault. If he wanted to become undisputed, real undisputed, not his delusional undisputed, after beating Lomachenko, he would have went and fought Devin Haney for the real WBC title. But instead, he chose to say that he undisputed because he had that franchise belt, that fake trinket Mauricio the dummy goofball Sulaiman made up for Lomachenko. Which, by the way, where's the franchise belt? Who are the franchise champions per division right now? You tell me. That shit don't even exist. Mauricio the goofball Sulaiman made it up for the champions that he likes, so they don't have to defend. That shit don't exist anymore. I don't even know if it even, I think it don't even exist for nobody. So at 135, Teofimo did not hold the WBC title. He wasn't undisputed. Then he moved up to 140, and the same thing happened. Josh Taylor had already been stripped. And after Josh Taylor got stripped, Teofimo fought him, beat him, great win, accomplished, became a world champion. But you don't have all the 4 major titles. For you to be an undisputed world champion, you got to go beat the guys that have the belts. And you didn't do that. But you was already calling yourself, nah, I'm undisputed. Nah, I'm undisputed. So in Teofimo's delusional mind, he's undisputed because he beat a guy that was undisputed. That's not the way that it works. The way that it works is you have all 4 major titles, then you're undisputed. He never held those in 135 or at 140. Never been undisputed. So it rubs people the wrong way when he say that. He isn't. Now, is he one of the most accomplished young fighters of this generation? Hell yeah. Is he one of the best of this generation? Hell yeah. We can't even have a conversation of the best young fighters without mentioning Teofimo Lopez. It's all facts. Great fighter. And I got mad love and respect for him. But he never been undisputed. That's cap. Mr. Tommy Gunn, Jay Smith, the Don of Dons. Appreciate it, my brother. Bam. Hakeem, playing devil's advocate. You simply beat the man to be the man. Okay, but beating the man to be the man won't make you undisputed. It won't make you... Being undisputed has never been about beat the man who beat the man. You could become the Ring Magazine champion like that. And I appreciate that about Ring Magazine. You got to beat the guy to win that strap. But undisputed, my G, is not about beating the man who beat the man. Undisputed is about you holding all 4 major titles at once. Teofimo never did that. He never been undisputed. That's just the reality. Side, you can say he lineal times 2, but not undisputed. There you go. See, when you want to talk about lineal, when you want to talk about holding the Ring Magazine belt, when you want to talk about unifying titles and divisions, you can give it to Tio. He's super accomplished. But let's not exaggerate the accomplishments. It's delusional to say that he's been undisputed because he never has. John Parham, did you see Ryan and Barrios' pressure? I didn't see it. I only saw a little snippet where Barrios was saying that Ryan Garcia is a clown. So I gotta check it out, see what that's about. It looked like it got fiery up in there. John Parham, Ryan is back on his shit. Appreciate the 10 likes. That's what I'm talking about. Nice and early, my peoples. We only 30 minutes in action. All right. But come on now. 2026, no more ghost watching. We double tapping that screen. Pop, pop, hitting that like button. My peoples, I think that tomorrow is going to be one of those cards where we're going to get a lot of explosive knockouts. Remember that I told you this. And, hello, Jay Smith is going to be calling these fights live. Kaipo Gallegos, I wouldn't be surprised if he wins by a knockout. Look at the type of action we getting tomorrow. If you don't know or you haven't seen Kaipo Gallegos fight, tomorrow is the best time for you to get put on and find out what this young lion does. He can fight. Special young fighter. I'm expecting him to win by knockout. I'm telling you right now. Then you have Zaquin Moses, Shakur Stevenson's cousin. He can fight. Special young fighter. My expectations, this kid is going to be a superstar. This kid is going to be a big deal. So start watching him already and see what he's going to bring to the table. Mr. Tommy Gunn's linear title has legitimacy. Of course, it does. It does have legitimacy. It holds a lot of weight, but it's not undisputed. Don't call yourself undisputed if you've never been. Call yourself what you are. See, Grab, are you going to go live commentating the fight? Hell yeah, my brother. Hell yeah. And by the way, all big fights, all big cards, you getting that live commentary for Jay Smith. You know you're going to get the left to the wig piece, the right to the mouthpiece, the left to the snack box, the right to the toupee. Devastating blow, ladies and gentlemen. I'm ready. I'm ready for the smoke tomorrow. John Parham, Moses a problem in the making. Man, listen, this kid is a big problem. And then you be training with Shakur in them. Be sparring with Shakur. You guys know the saying. Iron sharpens iron. It don't get no more real than that. That's a real commentary. That's a real piece of information that if you watch, you'll see that it's true. You'll see that Shakur Stevenson, working with Terrence Crawford. You see Kermel Moulton working with Floyd Mayweather. You see now Zaquin Moses also, who works with Shakur. And you notice that these young fighters who train with great fighters, they go up to be great fighters too. Wes Dussett, bam, salute my brother. Appreciate you jumping in here. John Parham, Moses is set up for success. That's the only way. And you know why I see Zaquin Moses he's like a LeBron James, let's say. You know when you saw LeBron James early on and you already knew, okay, this guy's going to do big things. You don't know how many big things he's going to do, but it's a sure thing, Zaquin Moses, the same thing. He's a sure thing. Why? Because if you follow him on social media, you see the dedication. You see the hard work. You see the hunger. He's one of those fighters, just like Shakur, just like Crawford, just like the greats, who he's in the gym when he ain't got a fight lined up. When he ain't got an opponent lined up, he's in the gym. And that's how you know the difference between the real good fighters and the great ones. The great ones, when they don't have nobody lined up and they don't have a fight date, they still in the gym, hitting the bag, they still running, they still sparring, they still working out. That's the difference. Then there's fighters that's really, really good, but when they don't got a fight lined up, you see them with a little fat gut. You see them growing tits. You see them 40 pounds over their weight class, partying, drinking, getting high. It's a difference, man. The great ones, they take care of their body different. They train different. And then they reach greatness because of it. See, Grab, what do you think about the Tank situation, man? The Tank situation, honestly, bro, it's tough to see the way that it's playing out because Tank Davis is a special fighter. A lot of people, look, even with him being inactive all this time, there's people who consider him the face of boxing. I don't consider that, but he's one of the most famous boxers in the world, one of the most explosive, one of the hardest punchers, pound for pound, is Tank Davis. But him being on the run right now, I don't know what that's going to do to his career. I don't know if, I'm hoping that he turn himself in and that everything is going to be all good. I don't want to see nothing happen to Tank Davis. I don't want to see motherfucking U.S. Marshals is looking for him. When you seen the U.S. Marshals looking for somebody over a domestic charge? I've never seen that shit. So I'm worried right now about Tank Davis. I hope nothing happened to him. I hope this whole situation come to a conclusion in a peaceful way. Let's see. And I spoke about that yesterday. I think maybe he's just getting everything in order before turning himself in. It could be that. When you're a millionaire and you got a lot of money, you got a mansion, you got diamond watches, diamond chains, diamond everything, you want to make sure that you set everything up so that you don't get robbed when you go to jail. You don't come up, he could spend a week. He could spend 2-3 weeks. He could spend a month and then get a bail. But what you think happens, they already raided his house, broke his door down and everything in Miami. What you think, or in Florida, I don't know where exactly in Florida he lived, but what you think happens if he go to jail for a month? What you think happens if he spend a month in jail? People know that's where he lived. You don't think they're going to rob the shit out of his house if he don't set everything up? So, let's see. Hopefully he turn himself in, bro. Mr. Tommy Gunn, Duran, and Tony. Wes Dustin, Floyd, Crawford, Hopkins, same animal. You ain't tell no lies. You ain't tell no lies, my brother. Look at Floyd Mayweather. What is he right now? 49, 50 years old? And Floyd still be running, still be in the gym, still be in good shape. And the funny thing about Floyd is that, and a lot of people didn't realize this, bro, you see Floyd Mayweather in the club, everybody around him drinking and smoking, getting high, getting drunk, and you see Floyd Mayweather with a water in the club. You see Floyd Mayweather with a bottle of liquor, and you don't realize he promoted that shit. You won't see him taking a zip. The liquor, look at the liquor right here. Ooh, guess what? Floyd Mayweather ain't take a zip of that shit. He just promoted. They gave him a bag to take a picture with that liquor or whatever, but he ain't drinking it. He ain't even drinking it. Let that sizzle in your spirit, my people. Floyd Mayweather been a different animal. John Pound West, that one Wu-Tang chain is fire. Ooh, golly. It sound like it's on fire. Tank need to chill on the internet, beefing with academics. Yeah, that's crazy, man. Like, you on the run and you messing with academics. I don't know what prompted that, because Tank posted that academics is a goofball, and academics like, oh, you need to turn yourself in, but I don't know what academics said that upset Tank like that. Wes Dustin, thanks for checking the channel out, John. I make stuff like that all the time. Wes Dustin, put the name of your channel right there, bro. Let the people know. Let the people know how you get down, because Wes Dustin is a creative mind that does some shit. You need to check out Wes Dustin, my peoples. Joanne Sosa, Tank versus Devin. That's a heck of a fight. That's a heck of a fight, and I've been wanting to see it. Mr. Motivator, have security posted. And I agree with you. You got to have security in his home. But just imagine, Mr. Motivator, if the day they put out a warrant out on Tank, if they would have caught him that same day, he wouldn't have had time to do all that. He wouldn't have had time to set anything up. What would have happened is that they would have robbed his house blind. He could have spent 2-3 weeks dealing with this shit behind bars, and when he finally got bail, he would have went home. Oh, what's my $500,000 diamond watch? Nobody know. We didn't see it. Well, where's my $300,000 diamond chain? We don't know. All type of shit would have disappeared. So I think it is possible that Tank is just setting everything up, making sure, yo, if I got to go in for a few weeks, everything is going to be taken care of. I think that's a reasonable logic to consider. John Pound Floyd never drank or smoked, but he take a picture once in a while with a bottle of liquor. Pa, look at it. Oh, look. You ain't going to see him drinking it, though. You never seen a Floyd Mayweather with a fat gut. You never seen a Floyd Mayweather with a cigarette in his mouth, with a vape, with a hookah. You never seen Floyd smoking a blunt. You never seen him drunk. Ooh, nah, you never gonna see it. Cause what Floyd been doing his whole life is putting his body at number one. Taking care of his body always been number one. No matter what's going on, that body taken care of. Terrence Crawford, the same thing. When have you seen a picture or a video of a fat Terrence Crawford? It don't exist. There is no such thing. There you have it, my peoples. Wes Dustin, you see the link right there, the YouTube channel. Yo, check it out. This man be building some shit. The thing about Wes Dustin, man, when you go into a channel and somebody's building something and you can see that it's coming out fire, so you get stuck and you think you're gonna watch, let me watch a couple of minutes, and you get stuck and you end up watching the whole video because you can't turn away. Salute to Wes Dustin, my brother. You killing it out there. Shaggy, happy Friday, my G. Let's talk boxing. No doubt. John Pound, West Channel decent. Checked it out yesterday. Yo, Wes Dustin is a creative individual. And that's why I appreciate it, because, creative people, we understand each other. And we can appreciate that. But I digress, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to get some serious boxing tomorrow. And I promise you, I'm going to be calling these fights. And I'm all in. I'm excited. And you know how that plays out. You know how we do it. Oh, the humanity. Devastating blow, ladies and gentlemen. What a shot. They pulled out the heavy artillery. We're going to get that type of action tomorrow. And I have a feeling we're going to experience multiple knockouts. Multiple knockouts. Because look, Kaipo Gallego, I think he might win by knockout. Zaquin Moses, we're going to be seeing a knockout. Khalil Cole, he's looking to knock somebody out. Israil Madrimov, looking to bounce back, looking to get back to the top. Former world champion, he looking to put the beats on somebody. And then Andy Cruz versus Raymond Murataya, we're going to get fireworks. You see, for this fight right here, we're going to get the fireworks nice and early. That's the type of fight this is going to be. Don't get it twisted. Do not get it twisted, my peoples. Andy Cruz, one thing I noticed about him, he only has 6 professional fights up until this point. But every time he get in the ring, you can see the progression. As he made that transition from the amateurs to the pros, every time he gets in the ring, you see him be a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more confident, and he just trying to beat people up out there. Been training with Bozienes, been sparring and everything with Jerome Boost Ennis, somebody who's a lot bigger and a lot stronger than himself. You building somebody that's going to be a monster. A monster. John Parham, Andy Cruz, a future star. I fucks with him. Bro, I fucks with him too, my G. Andy Cruz is a special fighter. And he's an elite level trash talker. He will not let off the gas on Keyshawn Davis. Andy Cruz consistently called Keyshawn Davis his son. He like, yeah, my son, let my son know. When he want to do it, we ready. Like, he applying that pressure on Keyshawn Davis. But I don't know when we're going to get that fight, my peoples. Wes Dustin, he on Keyshawn's neck. Facts. I don't know when we're going to get this fight. I think it's going to take some time simply because they're not in the same weight class. Keyshawn is going to fight at 140, but he's already said that he wants to move up to 147. Keyshawn already said that he's trying to move up to the welterweight division, which means if he does that, they're going to be 2 weight classes apart. How long till they meet up? I don't know. I think for Keyshawn Davis and Andy Cruz to see each other is going to end up happening in the welterweight division, because if Keyshawn moves up, he's not going to move back down. That's it. He's going to stay at the welterweight division. So we're going to have to wait for Andy Cruz to win a title at 135, because he's not going to leave the division titleless. Then he might also decide to unify titles in that division. Then he's going to campaign at 140, and then he'll go to the welterweight division. So I think Keyshawn Davis versus Andy Cruz could be 3, 4, even 5 years away from now. And that's unfortunate, because I know a lot of you guys want to see that fight. I want to see that fight. I really want to see how it plays out. I'm not going to, and I'll tell you guys right now, I'm not going to make a prediction based on what happened when they was amateurs. Yes, Andy Cruz beat Keyshawn Davis, what was it, 3 times in the amateurs? Whatever amount of times it was, he beat him. He's undefeated against Keyshawn Davis. But I'm not going to dictate what happened in the pros based off of that. They both developed. They're both better fighters, obviously, than they were. So, you know, we don't really know how that fight is going to play out as professionals. Don't assume, well, he beat him in the amateurs, so he's going to beat him in the pros. Doesn't always play out that way. That's going to be a heck of a fight. Very competitive. And they'll be able to marinate it so it could be a legitimate super fight. I'm talking about pay-per-view, a shitload of money for both fighters, a bunch of views, because it's going to be anticipated. You know the whole narrative behind this fight is going to be, your daddy, he beat your ass, Keyshawn trying to redeem himself versus this one guy. It's going to be a super fight. The lunatic librarian. I like Keyshawn until that goofy shit he did in Norfolk. Didn't make weight. Brawling locker room. Retiring. Then coming back. So, it's tough to see a fighter go through that process and they do come across as undisciplined. Keyshawn spoke about it. He said that he was struggling and abusing alcohol throughout that training camp. And that's part of the reason why he didn't make weight. And subsequently, he ended up changing his entire team. A whole new team. So I'm not sure if he's trying to, in a way, blame it on the team that he, what he went through. I don't know. But he chose to cut everybody off and start over. Let's see how this next chapter is going to play out. Wes doesn't. Cruz will be old by then. Nah, he's only 30. He's 30 right now. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Andy Cruz is he 30 years old? So, in 4 years, he'll still be in his prime. Andy Cruz age. Yeah, there you go. He's 30 years old. I had to confirm it. You guys know I like to fact check myself. I'll be making shit up out of thin air, right? He's 30 years old. So he could see Keyshawn in 4 years. And maybe Keyshawn try to age him out. Try to catch him when he 36, 37. Try to see if maybe he slowed down a bit. Or has a little bit of wear and tear on him. Wes does it. This is the third time Keyshawn changing his life. He reminds me of a young AB. Whoa. Whoa. I'm not going to compare Keyshawn with a young AB. You know why? Because, yes, he struggled, but whatever he struggled with, he was able to keep it private. We only know that he struggled with alcohol because he told us. But I want you to consider that AB was way out there. Even, look, AB started to go downhill before he lost to Maidana. Maidana just made everything worse, faster. But remember when he beat Paulie Malignaggi? This dude stole Paulie's girl the day before the fight. The day before the fight, he was mashing Paulie's girl, drinking, getting high. And then beat Paulie up because of the talent that he had. But his personal life was already going downhill. And he was doing a lot of crazy stuff. With Keyshawn, we really haven't seen that. We haven't seen his personal life going in the same direction as AB. So I wouldn't compare those two situations myself. I understand what you're saying, but me personally, I don't see it as the same. Sorry, maybe him moving from Bomac means he's more separated from Shakur, potentially building up a narrative. I don't see it because they still be working together. John Parent, we definitely will get Key and Shakur before 2028. Damn, John, I don't know how you see that, bro. Me, myself, I never see Keyshawn and Shakur fighting each other. I can't see it. The only way that I see them two fighting each other, it would be at the tail end of their career. I'm talking about 37, 38-year-old Shakur, already got all these accomplishments, already became the face of boxing. Keyshawn Davis is a big star, and they say, yo, let's get this bag. Let's fight each other. We already accomplished. We already did what we were going to do in the sport. Let's do it for the people. The people want it. Let's give it to them. I can see that's a possibility. But for now, we're not going to get that. And John, to show you that we're not going to get that, look what Keyshawn said, that he's going to go to the welterweight division. So if he's going to go to the welterweight division after just one fight, and Shakur right now in 2026 is about to make his debut at 140, how long you think it's going to take before Shakur go to welterweight? Think about that, John. A guy like Shakur who's trying to be the greatest, who's trying to be the face of boxing, He's not just gonna win a title and go to 147. Shakur Stevenson is gonna be aiming to become undisputed. Like if politics don't get in the way in the 140 division, he's gonna be looking to become undisputed. He's gonna be trying to grab all the belts. So Shakur is gonna be in the 140 division for a while. In 2028, you're talking about they're gonna fight before 2028. Shakur might still be at 140. Most likely, he'll still be at 140. So, are they going to meet up? I don't even think they'll be in the same division in 2028. John Parham, AB fame hit him too quick. He didn't know how to handle the fame. Listen, the moment AB started saying about billions, we about billions, that's it. It was a wrap for him. Well, Paulie kind of won that fight. Judges weren't counting his body shot. No, I don't think he won that fight. I think he did good. I think he was competitive. But Paulie lost. You know, you got your girl took and you got beat in the ring. He lost in every way that night. He lost, bro. AB was, and the fucked up thing is, AB wasn't just smashing his shorty. He was passing her around. They was running trains on Paulie's girl. Wes does it. It's a matter of discipline, natural talent that seems to be bringing himself trouble. And sometimes, man, when you struggle with mental health and other situations personally, it makes it tough for you to focus on what you're supposed to be doing. It's harder for you than for the average Joe to stay focused. Lunatic librarian. Well, drag one and probably still made weight, drinking and all. The lunatic librarian. Paulie was a tough fighter, no punching power. Why is he a significant win? He's a significant win because you have to look at the accomplishments. Anytime that you beat a world champion, anytime that you beat somebody who's accomplished, is going to be a significant win. You're not just beating an average Joe. Paulie Malignaggi has a track record. It's accomplished. What's accomplished as an amateur and as a professional. So you got to respect that. Those are always going to be quality wins. John Parham, Keys will be tired being in Shakur's shadow and will put the friendship aside. But that's speculation. Remember, that's speculation. I personally don't see it. I think that Keyshawn and Shakur, they've already decided that their friendship is worth more than the money that they could make fighting each other. They already made that decision. If I'm friends with somebody and you want me to fight, you could want whatever you want, but me and this guy is friends. We hang out together. I go to his house, he go to my house. We know each other's family. No matter what the fans want, they don't give a F. They already put their friendship ahead of what the people want. And I respect that. I definitely respect that. Wes Dust and Jay Smith, you are speaking on what Sean Porter did for Terrence Crawford and himself. I wouldn't say it exactly like that because Terrence Crawford and Sean Porter, they're friendly towards each other, but they're not friends. I think there's a big difference between whenever we see each other, we show love versus we're friends. You know my moms. I know your moms. We go to each other's houses. We hang out when it got nothing to do with boxing. Terrence Crawford and Sean Porter never had that relationship. They friendly towards each other. And I would say, whenever they see each other, there's always love. But you're never going to see Terrence Crawford and Sean Porter hanging out. You're never going to see, like, Shakur and Keyshawn, if you follow them on social media, you know that they hang out on a personal level. Sean Porter and Crawford, they don't They not close on a personal level. They just cool. Whenever we see each other, we're gonna show love. But we not friends like that. John Parham, Keys wants to be the man. He cocky ways will change that. But I see your point. The lunatic librarian. How is Paulie a gatekeeper test? Test that you can get past a jab. Please explain. Nah, Paulie ain't no gatekeeper. Paulie Malignaggi ain't no gatekeeper. No fighter, like, that's even disrespectful to call Paulie a gatekeeper. Look at the resume. No way he's a gatekeeper. You could say that maybe he was a world champion at the tail end of his prime or towards the end of his career, but definitely not a gatekeeper. The lunatic librarian, Paulie got beat up by non-elite fighter. Damn, bro. Just say you don't like Paulie Malignaggi. World champion. World champion multiple times in multiple divisions. Nah, bro. Nah. If you don't like him, that's different. Wes Dustin. You don't got to bring up my side piece. Damn, bro. AB done took his side piece and beat him. That's crazy. AB probably the first guy to take his opponent's girl the day before the fight. We ain't never seen that. That was crazy. John Parham, Paulie got turned into a Pauline. Well, a lot of legends got beat up by a non-elite fighter. Come on, man. If we go by that, Mike Tyson, then you would say, well, Mike Tyson's not a legend. He got beat up by a dude with a last name McBride that we never seen. Muhammad Ali got beat by some dude we never seen. A lot of people happens. You see the lunatic librarian? Let me explain to you the difference between how fans view fighters and how fighters view fighters. Fans, you look at the losses. You put a microscope on the losses and you drill on those, while at the same time ignoring the accomplishments. Fighters, on the other hand, we look at what you accomplished. Did you become a world champion? Did you ever unify? Did you become a champion in more than one division? Are you a one-hit wonder where you just won one title and never won again, a la George Kambosos? So if you notice, the lunatic librarian, look what you're doing. You keep pointing at things that you don't like about Paulie, while at the same time ignoring his accomplishments. Fighters and people within boxing, we don't ignore accomplishments, my G, to put a magnifying glass on the things that we don't like, and that's what you're doing. You're handling it like a fan who simply doesn't like a guy, and you're going to try to find as many negative things as you feel like you can say about him. Side, Paulie got cocked. Damn, man, Paulie a cock. Well, Paulie had a very good career. Yeah, disrespectful, but that's what I'm saying. Look at the career. Look at the accomplishments. When you understand, you look at accomplishments. When you don't understand, you're like, no, but look at this, and look at that, and what about this? You start trying to figure out a way to discredit everything and make them look bad. And in reality, you don't realize that it makes everything you're saying not credible. You take your credibility away from yourself because you're not respecting a multi-division world champion, an accomplished fighter, bro. You don't have an understanding of what it takes to accomplish what Paulie Malignaggi did. This is a guy who accomplished as an amateur, who won Golden Gloves, who won national amateur tournaments, then turned professional, went all the way to the top to becoming a world champion, and was a champion in multi-divisions. You're sitting here like, nah, he got beat by non-elite. He got beat by... Nah, bro, Paulie Malignaggi is respected within the boxing community. He's respected for a reason. You're not going to find boxers, world champions, who share your opinion. You're simply not going to find that. Wes Dustin, Terrence said they were friends. That's why Crawford never called him out. But it's like I told you. There's the people that you're friendly with, And that's the people that's your friends. So I'll give you an example. If you go to Terrence Crawford's Instagram and you scroll as far back as you can, anytime that you see Crawford and Porter together, they're in a boxing situation. Whether it's at a gym, whether it's at an interview, whether it's at a fight. So within that environment, yeah, they cool with each other and they show love. But you will never see Terrence Crawford and Sean Porter hanging out at the crib, playing basketball together, at the beach, walking around, at the resort, at the spot where they want to chill at. You won't see it because they don't hang out with each other like that. They know each other and they're friendly towards each other. But if you look at Keyshawn Davis and Shakur and you scroll, you're going to find that they hang out on a personal level. So I say those two friendships are not the same. His last fight show who he is, and you're not getting it. He is working all the time, doesn't need money. Literally just trying to fight because he's a warrior. There's people that want to fight, that love to fight. Wes Dustin, y'all hear Paulie is getting a bare knuckle title shot? I didn't even know about that. But to be honest, if it was for me, Paulie would not be in bare knuckle boxing. He wouldn't be there. Because you already had a great career, you proved yourself, but now you're going into bare knuckle boxing. You got out of boxing with all your faculties. You're not punch drunk, you're not messed up in the head, and now you're going to get into bare knuckle, which I don't even like that sport. That's too savage for me. It's entertaining to watch, but it's too savage. You got people punching each other with no protection. Did you see Paulie's face after his fight? Looking like he was facing a grizzly bear or something. Al Booger, Ali lost to Leon Spinks. Well, Spinks turned out to have a heck of a career, though. So it's not... People try to act like that was, a big deal. Or like Ali got lost to a nobody because Spinks didn't have that many professional fights. Gary Russell lost to Lomachenko when Lomachenko was like 1-1. Or like 2-1 or some shit like that. The number of fights you have don't always dictate what type of experience you have or how nice you are. Well, Jay Smith speaking facts, appreciate it, my G. And fellas, we've been at it for over an hour, man. We're not even at 20 likes. Come on, man. Double tap that screen, man. Come on, let's jump me into this algorithm. Side, it's a shame Conor McGregor was the one to put a nail in the coffin for Paulie. Look, man, Paulie Malignaggi is a fighter who should have probably retired 3-4 fights before he did. And that's another thing, too. Fans tend to focus on a fighter's last few fights and forget about everything that they accomplished. They forget about everything that they did in the sport. And then they focus, no, look what they did. Look at Mike Tyson. People just focus on he bit Evander Holyfield's ear, and he lost to this guy, and he lost to that guy. But they forget that Mike Tyson became the youngest heavyweight champion in the world, in history. And his record stands till this day. Until this day, nobody has been able to become the heavyweight champion of the world at 20 years old. Nobody. So, what that tell you about Mike Tyson? So instead of people knowing and understanding that this dude became a heavyweight champion of the world at an age that nobody in history has been able to, they say, no, Mike Tyson, he wasn't all that. He lost to this guy, or he did this, and he did. Look at the accomplishments. He got an accomplishments that took place over 20 years ago, over 30 years ago. And nobody's still been able to do it. If you do something and decades later, nobody's been able to do it, you need to understand what that means. It means you did something that's in the history books for decades. We might not see Mike Tyson's record be broken in our lifetime. There isn't a heavyweight right now that's 20 years old that we could say, yo, he could become a champion right now at 20. There isn't one. That tells you how big of an accomplishment that is. The lunatic librarian. I'm not ignoring his accomplishment. I'm not clueless to how promoters work or how or the business of boxing. I mean, you're literally ignoring his accomplishments, bro. You haven't said a goddamn thing about any of them. The only thing you said is that he lost to this, he lost to that, look at this. You are ignoring his accomplishment. Even in this comment, you ignore his accomplishments. What are you talking about, bro? Acknowledging accomplishments is usually when you say, yo, wait a minute, Paulie became a champion in this division, Paulie became a champion in that division, Paulie unified or Paulie multi-division. You ain't saying none of that shit, bro. All you've been doing is hating on Paulie. Side. You see Max Kellerman discrediting Bus win against Canelo? They never stop. So Max Kellerman, ever since he went with those people, he a different person, bro. He a different, I don't know what happened. I've been, known Max for years. I know his level of knowledge. But I don't know. It seems like as soon as he went with those people, his whole logic be weird, be different. Now he talking about, well, if Canelo doesn't look good, that's going to affect Crawford's win. Huh? What the fuck is you talking about? So I don't know what's going on with Max, man. Honestly, I believe that Max Kellerman say shit that he don't even believe. He just got to appease his peoples that he with now. I think that's what it is. I do stuff. Yo, good morning, brother. Paulie was a good fighter and know his boxing. Yo, Paulie was an elite level fighter. Like, it's crazy to see people try to discredit him and try to say, nah. He just lost to people that wasn't good. Like, huh? Did you not? Like, you didn't watch this guy fight, man. Paulie was an elite level fighter. Elite. Side, I like Paulie as a commentator. He keeps it real for the most part. Yeah, I like him too. I like Paulie Malignaggi. Like I said, man, I respect any fighter who's been able to accomplish inside the ring, as somebody who's been in the ring, who has a real good understanding of how tough it is to get to the top. How tough it is. If you have a box, man, you understand how tough it is to even be ranked. You know the type of opponents you gotta face just to be ranked, just to get a title shot. It's tough. And then to win it, and then to defend it, and then to win again in another division. People just don't have an understanding of how tough that actually is. So it's easy. Look, the lunatic librarian. I acknowledge, I know business and promoters and huh? Come on, what? We're not even talking about promoters and business. We talking about accomplishments. We talking about a guy going all the way to the top. If you've been in the ring and you traded leather, you're going to have nothing but respect for Paulie Malignaggi. And you're going to put him on a pedestal because you understand what he was able to do and you understand his skills. But if you don't understand his skills, you're going to do what the lunatic librarian is doing. Just keep trying to say, no, he didn't do anything. He lost to nobodies and promotional companies helped him. I guess that's what you're trying to say. Like, I don't know why you're bringing up promotional companies and business. We're not talking about that. But you would talk about anything except give him his flowers for what he accomplished. Side, not Sam Eggington. The lunatic librarian. Paulie lost to. Oh man, you still talking about what he lost. That's it. I'm gonna have to let you go. You got it, family. We already know you don't like Paulie. That's it. You could talk about somebody else. You made it very clear. The assassin. What's up, bro? What's your opinion on Bernie the Boxer coming out exposing Keyshawn, stating he could have made way for the De Los Santos fight? So this is my take, right? Keyshawn Davis left the whole team. Left, is gonna have a different trainer, different coaches. Obviously gonna be training in a different gym, And then he stated that he was struggling with alcohol abuse throughout that training camp. And now he walked away from the whole team. So what I think, and this is possibly, I don't have no insider info, is that Bernie the Boxer and and other people within the team wasn't having it. They were like, oh, you on some drinking shit? You on some other shit? No, we're not having it. You either in or out. We not having that. We not with the goofballery. Crawford don't drink. Shakur don't drink. None of the people around this camp don't drink and do none of that. We not hearing it. You either gonna get on your shit or what you gonna do. And I don't think Keyshawn liked the way the situation was handled. So he chose to say, nah, fuck these niggas. I'm out of here. I'm out of here. Y'all not supporting me. Y'all not understanding what I'm going through. And sometimes that happens. You not aligned with somebody because their frame of mind is not in sync with yours. So that's my perspective. Keyshawn left the whole team, though, broke off with everybody because of the way that camp played out. Will, you're doing exactly what he said you do, pointing out the negative, because you a negative dude. Write down all his wins too, bro. But you see what I'm saying, Will? That's what happens when you don't understand what's really going on in boxing and you just formulating your opinion based on who you like and who you don't like. When you don't like somebody, you start trying to pick and choose all the little negative things that you can say and completely ignore the accomplishments. That's the lunatic librarian right there, handling business. Handling the handle. Wes does a side. He pulled a box wreck on Paulie. I mean, come on. Hakeem. Paulie fought in the golden era of boxing. Very interesting resume. Will, you mentioned all his losses, now write all his wins. And we can compare them. Wes does it. Pull up them belts then. The lunatic librarian, Paulie fought Ricky Hatton for the IBO belt, which is only a world title when we feel like it. You see? So there you have it. It's all about discrediting what great fighters are able to accomplish. The lunatic librarian with the super chat vibes. Salute, family. I talk about boxing as a whole. Lifestyle, business, training techniques, understanding it as a whole. It's boxing. We all have opinions. Still love. Still love, but you hating on Paulie Malignaggi, bro. You hating on Paulie Malignaggi. That's a very, very respected fighter within the boxing community, my G. Side, I think BFB got zero tolerance for BS. Keyshawn wasn't feeling that. I feel his character was too wacky for the camp, in my opinion, but the talent is there. You see, that's the thing. When you going through stuff like Keyshawn has been, there's going to be people that's not going to deal with the bullshit. And what you tend to do is pull away from them. Like, fuck it, y'all not understanding me, y'all not supporting what I'm going through, fuck y'all niggas. Like, that's what it felt like Keyshawn Davis did. Because, think about it, throughout that time that he's been working with Bomac, inside the ring, all Keyshawn Davis has seen is success. Seen success, that's it. Seen his star power go up, has become more popular. One bad training camp, and he's out of there. That's not a good look for Keyshawn. We're not looking at Bo Mac and them, oh damn, what y'all did that y'all made him leave. We're looking at Keyshawn like, damn, bro, you seen nothing but success over there. Why would you just disengage from the entire team and say, nah, I'm gonna have a whole new team? What the fuck just happened? So it seems like they wasn't with the bullshit over there, and Keyshawn Davis wasn't having it. If you're not accepting what I'm going through, he broke off. It happens. MAW, West, Out Bugger, salute, brothers, family. Bam. The assassin. Nah, Keyshawn lost my respect. And when Andy wins by KO this Saturday, he gonna look even worse than the dude that calls him Son. Will be champ. So Andy Cruz has been very smart about pushing that fight, about promoting that fight. Keyshawn Davis versus Andy Cruz. He knows that fight is not happening anytime soon. He understands that. But he's already marinating it. He's already put that label. Keyshawn is my son. Anytime he talk about Keyshawn, he address him as his son. That's my son right there. Every time. So Andy Cruz knows this guy is obviously more famous than I am, more accomplished, because Keyshawn already got a title. But I'm going to put my foot on his neck, and I'm not letting off. You guys think about it. They not even in the same weight class. And Andy Cruz still be, anytime Keyshawn come up, oh yeah, my son. Yo, it's rare to see Andy Cruz call Keyshawn by his name. Rare. He only call him my son. That's my son over there. And you know that's gotta bother Keyshawn Davis. That's gotta bother him. Every time he say Keyshawn is my son, it's like a little stab. Yeah, my son. You my son. Because you always reminding him. And Andy Cruz is never going to stop reminding him, I whooped your ass and I'm undefeated against you. And I'm going to tell you what, guys. This is good for boxing. The whole situation with Andy Cruz, Keyshawn Davis is great for boxing because it's going to be marinating. And when the time comes that they have to fight each other, it's going to be a super fight. Big fight. You can expect it. MS, Morataya locked in. That stare look deadly. I'm going to keep it 100, man. I've had people tell me Morataya can pull off the upset. It can happen. I do stuff. Valenzuela signed with Zoo for boxing. I already told you guys. The moment Mauricio the Goofball Sulaiman stripped Terrence Crawford of that WBC belt, he opened up the floodgates for Zoo for boxing. Gave Dana White and Turkey Al-Sheikh an alley-oop. Take that. Take this alley-oop behind the back and slam dunk that shit. You gave them one of the best recruiting tools that you could have. And fighters signing with Zoo for boxing, some of them are basically saying, fuck the WBC. We don't give a damn about you. Your trinket-ass belt. MAW. Keyshawn got to do what Keyshawn got to do. What he thinks is best for Keyshawn. If it works or fails, it's on Keyshawn. Jermaine right now is a quality test, in my humble opinion. So we'll soon see how that pans out. You're right. You're right, my brother, and I got to agree with you on that. We have to do what we feel is right for us and our family. And if Keyshawn feels that way, whatever happens, win, lose, or draw, is going to be on you. The assassin. Ain't no way Murataya beating Andy. I got Andy 65-35. Listen, bro. I got Andy Cruz winning that fight. I feel like Murataya is a very good fighter. But Andy Cruz is a special fighter. There's the difference right there. Just like Sam Noakes. Let me tell you guys something. Sam Noakes lost to Abdullah Mason. He's going to be a world champion. I see Sam Noakes becoming a champion. You're very good fighters. And very good fighters become world champions. But Abdullah Mason is a special fighter. A special fighter. And they're the ones who win titles, defend, unify, go to another division, do it all over again. That's Abdullah Mason. I do stuff. Pass them the rock. Of course. You pass that rock when you pull that move on Terrence Crawford. Why? Because now Dana White can look at young fighters and say, yo, look what Mauricio the dummy Sulaiman did to Terrence Crawford. Right after he got one of the biggest wins in boxing. Stripped him. What you think they're going to do to your goofy ass when nobody know you and you're not famous? What you think they're going to do to you? Huh? If they did that to Crawford. Now you see they already signed Jai Opataya. They already signed young undefeated fighters that we don't know yet, but we will. Rayo Valenzuela went over to Zuffa. We're going to see more fighters doing it. Mauricio done fucked up. The lunatic librarian. The WBC been goofy since Riddick Bowe dropped their belt in the trash. We've been letting them slide with a lot of shit, the lunatic librarian. We've been letting the WBC slide with the bullshit. Because what about the franchise belt? What about when Benavidez was Canelo mandatory for a goddamn 2 years? And they didn't ask Canelo to fight him? Why y'all didn't go to Canelo and say, yo, Canelo, you got to fight Benavidez? That's your mandatory. Y'all in the same weight class. Fight him. They never did. Never forced a fight. How you allow for Canelo Alvarez to be undisputed when he refused to fight David Benavidez? Because you just want Canelo to be the champion. You know Benavidez was going to knock him the fuck out. So you decided that, nah, we don't want that fight. Canelo is our champion. They've been with the bullshit. Raul Pacheco. Hey, on the topic, what you do think about Pacheco? Which Pacheco? Al Booger. And Mauricio made it so public. Gave Zuffa the perfect alley-oop, bro. It was like he gave him an alley-oop, bro. It was like, you know when you jump and you put it under the legs? He gave Zuffa boxing one of these alley-oops. So they could just slam dunk it two-handed. Windmill. Boom! Take that. Goofy shit. Mauricio fucked up. Wes Dustin. You want payday. You want payday. Canelo Alvarez, man, he getting the big money. And the WBC, they want him to be the champion so he could keep passing down them nice sanctioning fees that they love. They want Canelo to be the champion no matter what. Look at the funny shit that they did, bro. It was supposed to be Hamza Shiraz versus this dude. I can't remember his name right now. They were supposed to fight each other for that vacant WBC strap that they took from Terrence Crawford. This motherfucker said, nah, that fight not happening anymore. It's not happening. Canelo gonna fight this dude in September for the belt. They just can't wait to get that green belt back to Canelo, bro. If it was up to Mauricio, the dummy Sulaiman, he would just grab the belt and be like, hey, ladies and gentlemen, this belt really belongs to Canelo, so we're not going to make a fight for him. Canelo, just put this shit on. That's what he wish he could do. Yo, the way he handled, I don't know how Mauricio do in his personal life, but the way he handled the WBC as a businessman, he a piece of shit. Piece of shit. Somebody grab a clip from this and send it to him, so he know I feel like he a piece of shit. The lunatic librarian, like when they basically gave Chavez Jr. the middleweight title after they stripped Martinez. Then Martinez became champ by whooping his ass. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. has probably been the worst or one of the worst champions we ever had. This guy, man, his main focus has been doing drugs, getting high, fucking hoes. That's been his main focus of his career. But, you know, you're a son of a legend. You're Mexican. Mauricio Sulaiman, he like to take care of his Mexican fighters. So they got you to the top. The assassin. Do you think the Kid Austin coming up opponent Lucas Badie is tougher than Sam Noakes? It's hard to say because Sam Noakes is tough, bro. I think Lucas and Sam are like maybe at that same level. They're both, you know what? I think Sam Noakes may be tougher. Badie's tough too, man. But Sam Noakes is something else. You saw how he went 12 rounds with Abdullah Mason, and this is, I would say this is Abdullah's coming out party, because for that fight, he had to do what he never done. He had to step his game up where he never been in to get that W. And that's what he did. That's what the great ones do. Look, to be honest, I'd have to see them fight each other. Badie and Noakes, I'd have to see them fight each other to see who's better out of them two. And I would like that fight, by the way. That's a good fight. And Kid Austin, supposedly, they was trying to make the fight with Lamont Roach. I would have loved to see that fight. Kid Austin, Lamont Roach. Come on, my people. That would have been a heck of a fight. MAW. Didn't Haney kill off that franchise belt as soon as he beat Cambosis? I mean, that bullshit-ass franchise belt don't even exist, bro. Mauricio Sulaiman literally made that shit up for Canelo and Lomachenko. That's it. That shit don't even exist. Why? Because he a piece of shit. He do whatever he want to make his people's champions or to keep them as champions so they don't have to defend. Mauricio only makes certain people defend. He only stripped certain people. Other people could do whatever the hell they want. That's how he moved. 2 left hooks. Jay Smith out here applying pressure in the boxing world. Salute, my dude. Appreciate it, my G. You know it. We on it. We on it. We on their neck. West Dussett. MS. Chavez Jr. is looking for a title fight, and he will be fighting in Mexico soon. I seen that on ESPN Spanish. Man, listen. Chavez Jr. is cooked. He's done. That's it. He ain't look. He might act like he looking for a title. He looking for a payday. Maybe to take care of his drug habits and to be able to afford the type of horse that he likes. That's about it. That dude ain't gonna be no goddamn champion. I been lost hope in his goofy ass. You got beat up by Jake Paul, bro. Jake Paul done whooped your ass. Wes Dustin, don't forget the like button, my peoples. Jay Smith in the zone. Come on, man. We already know in 2026 there ain't gonna be no ghost watching. Let's hit that like button. Side, Lucas Badie, the one who put H2O to sleep. No, listen. I got respect for Badie. Don't get it twisted. I got respect. But Sam Noakes, man, we seen what he did with Abdullah Mason. We seen that performance. In fact, the way that Sam Noakes lost to Abdullah Mason, his stock went up. Just like Reina Tellez, the way she lost to Amanda Serrano, stock went up. And I told you guys before, sometimes a fighter could lose a fight and still become more popular, and just people have more respect for them after the fight. Wes Dustin, Tio wanted the franchise belt bad. He wanted it because he was like, with the franchise belt, I'm going to be undisputed. Bro, that's a fake belt. That's a fake belt made up by Mauricio the Dummy Sulaiman. That shit don't even exist. The assassin, yeah, but the a bad mofo, but Gnosis a bull. That's a 50-50. I think that fight, if it happens, it's going to be explosive. Explosive. That's one of those that a fight breaks out early, and they both out there to do damage. Badi throw punches like he want to cause bodily harm, but Sam Noakes, he be shooting missiles. Nebraska Raw, greeting from the main streets of North Omaha, Nebraska. Salute, my brother. Salute. The stomping grounds of the greatest fighter of this generation, Terrence Bud Crawford. MAW, Abdullah Mason versus Sam Noakes was fire. Potentially fight of the year. One of the best fights we've seen this year. One of the best fights to have as a coming out party. Because sometimes, a fighter like Abdullah Mason will get an easy opponent on the big stage so they could look good. And your coming out party is versus a fighter that you're going to dominate. Not so with Abdullah Mason. He got tested heavily for 12 rounds, but he answered the call. And in the championship rounds, Abdullah Mason showed the difference between a very, very good fighter and a special fighter. Sam Noakes, elite. Abdullah, elite / special. And he showed us that night. The Lunatic Librarian. Ball versus Figueroa. We should see over 1,000 punches. Man, listen. That's another slugfest waiting to happen. That's a slug. You know why? Because Bo is the type of fighter that's going to let the hands fly. And you know how Figueroa does it. He's going to let the hands fly. The Assassin, Kid Austin versus Abdullah, has to happen. I'm not buying that one-round sparring sesh. We need that fight. I need Kid to win. I'm going to keep it 100 with you, bro. I don't see Kid Austin beating Abdullah Mason. I don't see it. Now, he got the power to make it interesting and to, pull off an upset, do something crazy. But without a shred of doubt, the better fighter is Abdullah Mason. He's the better fighter out of them two. And I'm going to say this, the Assassin. Abdullah Mason is dying to fight Kid Austin. Remember when Kid Austin was trying to fight Shakur? And Shakur said, go fight Abdullah. Abdullah was like, let's get it. Let's get it. He want him. He want that smoke, that appetite for smoke. But Kid Austin and his pops, they don't want that fight. And you know how I know they don't want that fight? When they ask for the mythical figure of $10 million. His pops is out there on video. You can check it out. Pop Deuce talking about, we want to fight Abdullah. You got to pay us $10 million, though. If you haven't figured it out, $10 million is the amount of money people ask for when they don't want to fight. Remember when Danny, Keith, and everybody else in PBC wanted $10 million to fight Crawford? They knew they wasn't going to get that. So if Kid Austin is out there fighting for $800,000, 1.2, $500,000, what you mean you want $10 million? What you mean you want more than triple what you ever made in your life? You never seen 3. How you never seen $1, $2, $3 million for a fight, but you want 10. You don't want to fight. Remember Jay Smith told you this, my peoples. When a fighter who never seen 3 meals is asking for 10, he don't want to fight. You know what we call that? Ducking, but acting like you're not ducking. That's what that is. You don't want that fight, but you don't want to say it. You don't want to tell the people, nah, I don't want this fight. Instead, you say, yeah, I want to fight him. I want to fight him. Give me 10 million. You know, goddamn well nobody going to give you no 10 million. You don't want to fight. You don't want that smoke. MAW, didn't want the WBC franchise belt. He inherited from his victory over Loma. WBC created a French fry belt to try to get unlimited fees of Canelo and Loma. Win, lose, or draw in any division. Greed. So, let me be more specific. They created the franchise belt because they knew that, because the first person to get a franchise belt was Canelo Alvarez, right? They knew that there's certain fighters that they didn't want Canelo to fight. David Benavidez being one of them. So they realized, yo, if we strip Canelo, we're cooked with the sanctioning fees. All that money that he gives us when he fight, we're done. Plus, Canelo's our guy, our Mexican champion. How could we not have him as champion? He gonna be mad with us. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna create this franchise belt, and we're gonna be like, nah, Canelo, you're gonna be our champion no matter what. We're gonna keep you as champion. And you're not even gonna have to defend this one. Because remember, the main title, you're gonna have a mandatory, you're gonna have to fight, but that franchise bullshit is yours. They wanted to keep Canelo as their world champion no matter what, my peoples. That's just the reality. Braskarov, 10 million, get the fuck out of here. That's what I'm trying to tell you, my G. When they ask for that special figure of $10 million, they ducking. They don't want to fight. The Lunatic Librarian. Out of all the non-profit organizations, WBC, WBA, WBO, IBF, has best bylaws. Listen, bro, the WBC is just, they're full of shit. That's it. To me, the WBC belt has become a trinket. Mauricio the dummy Sulaiman do whatever he want. He put as champion whoever he want. If he don't like the champion, he gonna strip you quick. Or he gonna give you a mandatory real quick and make you fight. If he like you, you go fight whoever you want and do whatever you want. That's how they handle themselves over there. Mauricio, a piece of shit. Braskarov, Abdullah is a very mature for his age. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Abdullah Mason is one of those fighters who is going to have a long, long reign in boxing. Because you see the discipline. You see the whole family working as a team. He's going to give problems for years and years to come. MAW, I swear, some of these fighters just pluck out crazy pay numbers out of thin air. I'm trying to tell you, my G, how you never seen $2 million in your life and you talking about you want 10? 10? Let that shit sizzle in your spirit, my peoples. Imagine where you work at. Imagine you get paid, and I'm just making numbers out of crazy thin air, right? Imagine right now where you work at, you making $100K a year. You making 100,000. Imagine you go to your boss and you tell him, yo, I need a raise. I need you to start paying me $1 million a year. I need $1 million a year now. You're going to get your goofy ass escorted out the company by security. You're going to get fired that same day. They're going to be like, nah, this motherfucker's on drugs. He want $1 million? He want to go from 100,000 to $1 million? Nah, this motherfucker's on drugs. Get him out of here. Security, you're going to have a meeting with your boss about how you want $1 million, and he's going to be like, okay, we're going to talk to you in a minute. Security, we need you to take this guy to human resources. Somebody gonna go to your work spot, your desk, your wherever you at, and they're gonna be like, yo, Karen from human resources need to see you. And you're gonna see security right there, walking you to human resources. You're getting fired, my G. How you talking about you want a raise that is 10 times the money that you're making right now? You're not making any sense. Now, if you tell me you make $100K a year, and now you want 120, you want 130, okay, you want a raise, cool. But from 100,000 a year to $1 million, bro, you need to be in a psychiatric ward with a fucking vest. What is you talking about? The assassin, hopefully Ryan Garcia not on that juice this time around versus Barrios. You know I haven't been able to make that prediction. That fight is coming up because that's a good fight. Mario Barrios can fight. He's been a world champion. Ryan Garcia is trying to he is a champion. Ryan Garcia trying to become a champion for the first time. Then you got Dan Goosen, who used to train Ryan Garcia, by the way, training Mario Barrios. That's crazy. Dan Goosen interaction was wild with Ryan Garcia. I mean, they know each other. They worked together in the past, twice. Interesting to see how Goosen is going to prepare Barrios, but also, if Ryan Garcia beat Mario Barrios, he's gonna shit on Dan Goosen. I promise you. In that post-fight interview, he gonna shit on Dan Goosen, bro. MAW, Barrios got inside information with Goosen. That's what I'm talking about. But my peoples, once again, I wanted to make sure that we talk about the fights that we're gonna experience tomorrow. I will be calling them live. Number one, if you do not know Kaipo, Gallegos, please check him out, my peoples. Check him out on Instagram. Check him out on his social media platforms. This kid can fight. He a special young fighter. Trust me, if I follow him on IG, I'm not following no goofball, y'all. I'm not. But if I'm following him, that right there tells you everything you need to know. This kid can fight. He's fighting tomorrow. Check him out. We're going to get Zaquin Moses. Zaquin is a special young talent. I expect him to achieve greatness. He's one of those who's going to win titles, unified titles. If politics don't get in the way, he'll become undisputed too. And he's gonna accomplish in multiple divisions. So I hope you know who Zaquin Moses is. He's going to be fighting tomorrow. We're also going to get Khalil Cole. Khalil Cole is going to be... Listen, he's a guy who took a loss, and he's only 10 fights into his career. Took a loss by stoppage, rematched the same guy who beat him, and beat his ass. Beat his ass. Khalil Cole is somebody that you got to have your eye on. This fight is going to be explosive. This fight is going to be explosive, my peoples. Don't get it twisted. And then you have Israil Madrimov. We know what Madrimov been to the table, being a world champion, trying to get back to the top. This fight is going to be a good one. And, of course, the main event, Andy Cruz versus Morataya. Whoa. Whoa. Brascarell, what time you going live, G? So... you guys know I'm going to be calling these fights. And sometimes I go live for the last couple of fights because the early ones may not be that good. But this one right here, man, we got a nice card. We're going to get a lot of good fights. So I'm going to be going live from the beginning. I'm going to be calling all these shits, all these fights, all the fireworks. The left hooks to the mouthpiece, the right hooks to the wig piece, the left hooks to the snack box, right in the mouth. I'm going to be calling all of them for y'all. So, my peoples, I'm about to get the hell out of here. But before I do, I want to give a shout out. Goddamn, we didn't even get to 30 likes, bro. 2 hours? 2 hours of action. We didn't even get to 30 likes. God damn, how I convinced you to double tap that screen, my peoples. Salute to everybody who tuned in. MAW, Brascarol, JJ's in their house, MS, the assassin was in the building. The lunatic librarian always showing love. And the lunatic librarian, let me tell you something. I appreciate you because you don't hesitate to have a different opinion. And all of you, y'all don't hesitate to have a different opinion. I love that about this channel. I love that about my Box Center family. Y'all not just here to agree with me. Y'all not just here to say, yes, it's true, yes, it's true. Sometimes you guys agree with me, sometimes you disagree with me. And I love that because that's what make up for a good conversation, for a good boxing debate. Who else was in the building? Cy was in the building. John Parent was up in here talking that shit. The General. Hell yeah. Al Booger. Whiskey with Waters was in the building talking that shit. Will was in the building. Dragon, West Dustin. Man, listen. The love that I get from my Box Center family, man, I wouldn't trade it for anything. You guys, man, you guys really made this show what it is. If it wasn't for you guys, this show wouldn't be the shit. You guys make it that. Toy Mafia, bam. So I'm about to get the hell out of here. Just reminding you guys, if you haven't subscribed to Box Center 2.0, shit is going to be crazy on Box Center 2.0. Go ahead and subscribe over there. And of course, tomorrow is going to be lit. We're going to be calling this whole card because we got a whole bunch of fights to look forward to. My peoples, this is Boxing for Breakfast. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. I'm Jay Smith. I'm about to get the hell out of here. But before I do, I want to say one love, salute to everybody, and enjoy the rest of your day. See you guys tomorrow. Peace.